I know you're from the New York Times, and I'm going to message for Americans. Okay, you can pass this message out. Canadians believe in Canada. Canadians are getting behind this country. Canadians are making decisions with where they travel, where they purchase, who they support, the institutions they support. They're coming together and supporting our country. And we are building this home of the Prime Minister of a G7 country for centuries. That's what we're doing today. Just last month, I had the privilege of announcing His Majesty's approval of Canada's new Governor-General, Her Excellency the Right Honourable Louise Arbour. And I ended those remarks with the same point that I'm going to begin my remarks today with. And I quote, "At a time when much of the world is buffeted by crises, Canada's history, our institutions, and our traditions matter more than ever. And while these foundations are expressed in language, practiced in custom and convention, and enshrined in law, they can also take physical form. They can be made of timber and stone, stand as landmarks, as testaments in which we recognize ourselves." Just last month, I had the privilege of announcing His Majesty's approval of Canada's new Governor-General, Her Excellency the Right Honourable Louise Arbour. And I ended those remarks with the same point that I'm going to begin my remarks today with. And I quote, "At a time when much of the world is buffeted by crises, Canada's history, our institutions, and our traditions matter more than ever. And while these foundations are expressed in language, practiced in custom and convention, and enshrined in law, they can also take physical form. They can be made of timber and stone, stand as landmarks, as testaments in which we recognize ourselves. 24 Sussex is nearly as old as our country. First built in 1868, it sits on a rise above the meeting of three rivers, the Ottawa, the Rideau, and the Gatineau. Home to 10 of Canada's prime ministers, as Mr. Lightbaum just said, from Louis Saint Laurent, Stephen Harper. For more than 75 years, this House has welcomed leaders from around the world, including Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Sir Winston Churchill, President John F. Kennedy. 24 Sussex Drive is more than a residence. It's greater than a mere backdrop to history. It's a symbol of the public office of the head of our federal government and of the democratic traditions that office represents. And yet, it has not been cared for with the respect that it deserves. And after decades of deferred maintenance and neglect, this House sits empty. It's been uninhabitable for more than a decade. Now, for years, many have agreed that 24 Sussex should be saved, but it was left to language, and so the damage spread, and the repair costs climbed. And now it's in critical condition. So today, our government is acting to renew this building, restore this institution, preserve our history, protect our heritage and traditions for generations to come, because that continuity matters. A nation is more than the people who live in it today. It includes everyone who came before us and everyone who will come after. Our institutions are how we carry forward what we were given and how we pass that on, at least intact, ideally improved, to those who follow. 24 Sussex Drive is one of these institutions, and we will not let it crumble. We will set it right. Today, we're launching a national design and build competition to restore 24 Sussex Drive, to become, once again, a secure, accessible, and sustainable official residence and a working venue for Canada's future prime ministers. We will do this in a manner that reflects the very best of Canada. We are calling for proposals that are ambitious, achievable, and cost-effective. The competition will be open to eligible Canadian firms, putting Canadian design excellence at the centre of the project. As I said, the Royal Architectural Institute of Canada, drawing on its expertise supporting major architectural competitions, will provide advice on the competition framework, establish an independent jury of distinguished Canadian experts in architecture, heritage conservation and design, chaired by Moshe Safdie, one of the world's most celebrated and accomplished architects. The jury will provide the key input to make the proposals and make their recommendation. Sorry, to assess the proposals and to make their recommendation to Cabinet. The winning team will be responsible both for the design and the reconstruction of 24 Sussex, so they will need a credible, disciplined plan to see it through. A plan to bring the building to life on time, and to a standard worthy of the country that it serves. So we're turning to the country's most innovative architects, designers, and builders for solutions to find the most ambitious, exciting, and affordable solutions. The winning proposal will be announced by Canada Day next year. I would like to express my personal and deep gratitude to Prime Ministers Stephen Harper and Jean Chrétien for advocating for the renovation of 24 Sussex as the residence of the Prime Minister. I would also like to thank Prime Ministers Joe Clark, Kim Campbell, Paul Martin, and Justin Trudeau, who, together with Mila Mulrooney, have expressed their support for this renovation. As with everything our government undertakes, it's not just about what we build, it's about how we build and why we build. 24 Sussex will be built by Canadians for Canadians. Now, while 24 Sussex is a symbol of the office it serves, it must also be a home. And the women and men who will lead our country in the future will need a residence for their families. I may not look like it, but my kids are already grown. And I will never, in any event, live in 24 Sussex Drive. But future Prime Ministers will undoubtedly need to raise their children here as they lead our country. So we'll restore it so they may do so safely and securely. In the end, I and all public officials are stewards of the offices we hold. We don't own them. We serve them to serve Canadians. And we have a responsibility to leave things better than we found them. Notre responsabilité n'est pas seulement de respecter celles et ceux qui occuperont ces fonctions après nous. Nous avons aussi un devoir envers les Canadiens et Canadiennes, celui de préserver et de renforcer les institutions qui leur appartiennent. Let me close with this. Canadians rightly expect their leaders to take decisions where the benefits may only be realized long after they're in office. And this is the type of decision we're taking today, because good stewardship demands it, and because Canadians rightly expect it, and because the future of our institutions, all our institutions, depends on us leaving them better than we found them. We have to apply that principle comprehensively, not selectively. Thank you very much, and I look forward to your questions.
Here's the truth. We've uploaded 25 videos and reached 52,000 views, but only 234 of you have subscribed. We bring you real news, straight from the source, every single time. So if that means something to you, please hit subscribe. It makes a real difference for our team.
Now, 5 minutes of remarks, and Carney never once asked for a blank check. Notice what he actually announced: a national design competition, an independent jury chaired by one of the most respected architects alive, and a hard deadline: Canada Day next year, full stop. But the real test of that plan came the moment reporters started asking who's actually going to pay for it, including the exact reporter whose exchange opened this video.
What message do you have for hospitals, universities, medical charities in general, about why the government thinks it's necessary to compete against them for donations for this project?
Look, a country, we have to do many things at the same time. We have to build physical infrastructure as a country. We have to reinforce our defense, reassert our sovereignty in the Arctic. We have to invest in medical technologies, which we will be doing. We need to invest in our people, social services. As individuals, the same holds. Decisions in terms of supporting the arts, supporting humanitarian causes around the world, supporting direct charity in your community. And individuals make those decisions, and we very much respect. This is a response. The structure here is a response to incoming interest in supporting this project. Okay, it is a response. And Ian, I know you're from the New York Times, and I'm going to message for Americans. Okay, you can pass this message out. Canadians believe in Canada. Canadians are getting behind this country. Canadians are making decisions with where they travel, where they purchase, who they support, the institutions they support. They're coming together and supporting our country. And we are building this home of the Prime Minister of a G7 country for centuries. That's what we're doing today.
That's the line the whole video opened on, landing exactly where it actually happened. An American reporter asks why Canadians should fund their own Prime Minister's residence instead of hospitals and universities, and Carney doesn't get defensive. He gets pointed right back. But the sharper number question, what does this actually cost, and why isn't the government just paying for it outright? Got an answer? Canada Today's own video, cut off before it really started.
Just a little bit double-barreled here. Just wondered your impressions. I'm certain you've been inside here meeting with Prime Ministers Harper or Chrétien at some time over the years. So just your impressions. But also, the design team's going to have to work with, I assume, a budget envelope. So I wonder if you could talk about what do you expect the bill to be, or you'll ask the design team to work in. And what does it say that a G7 country like Canada, in developing its own patrimony, is too cheap to pay the full bill, that you got to pass the cap to pay for renovations of a place like this? So what's it going to cost, and why are we going to pay for the thing?
Well, a couple of things. So that was a triple barrel, if I could count. The first one, I've only been inside once when it was functioning with Prime Minister Martin. And I met Prime Minister Harper in his office, or one of his offices. So I've been inside before. I've been inside once in its current state of disrepair, which is, I mean, it is literally stripped down to the studs and barely held together. I'd like to thank the NCC for at least preserving those options. Thank you, Mr. Nussbaum, for that. So that answers the first part of your question. What does it say? Look, one of the things that has struck me over the course of the last 15 months or so has been the amount of interest in supporting the renovation, a sense of ownership and responsibility of a number of Canadians that this is their house. It's occupied temporarily by whoever is Prime Minister, but it's their house. It's a symbol of the nation, and they want to contribute. And this is a common theme across the country in recent years, certainly the time I've been Prime Minister, is Canadians want to participate in various ways. It can be choosing a wine from, Okanagan over one from California. It's vacationing in Prince Edward Island or the Gaspé instead of going to Florida. All these little decisions are there. It's the interest in participating in, which is why we're setting up the Canada Strong Fund, ability for Canadians to participate directly in the building of the country in these big nation-building projects. So we're creating that opportunity. It's an opportunity, and it's coming behind this. And look, as I said to the first question, we have the means to do it. This is a way to have the participation. Yes, it helps defray costs. I want to emphasize that the process also itself provides a discipline to it. I've now forgotten your third element. What's the budget? Well, that's part of the. Look, I've seen, as the cabinet has, Mr. Lightbaum oversaw the process. We have seen various costings for various options for the official residence of the Prime Minister. They include security costs. Security costs are responsibility of the government. I mean, in this model, we will absorb those security costs. We've interrogated those security costs to make sure that they're right, and made some progress there. So I don't want to be too forward on what the budget is for this, because in many respects, that's part of the competition. Just as one, I mean, that's why we have experts overseeing the competition. I don't want to be saying, well, I think you should put the dining room on the second floor, or you should do. No. Not the budget, not that, but the specifications, and I'll go to your question. The specifications of the competition will be set out by the Royal Architectural Institute of Canada. The jury will set them out. They'll come out in due course. experts will come, but those specifications will include heritage, effectiveness. It needs to be effective, residence as well as a working location, sustainability, value for money, and of course a heavy Canadian component. Those are my words. They'll come up with better versions of those and those weightings. That will all be in the public domain. And we have absolutely extraordinary architects, construction firms in this country. It's going to be a fantastic competition. We'll see what they come up with. We don't actually know, and that's what's exciting.
That's the part almost nobody showed you. No fixed number, because the number doesn't exist yet. Security costs absorbed entirely by government, not the fundraising. A public list of donors, a hard cap on any single contribution, no corporate money at all. Say what you want about whether crowdfunding a prime minister's residence is the right call. What's clear is that the version of this story most people saw was missing half the actual answer. Do you think funding 24 Sussex through public donations is the right approach, or should the government have just paid for the whole thing outright? Subscribe to Unbiased Canada, hit like, and let us know in the comments.